This is Saturday, February 21st, 2015. This is Anna Rose Blaylock with the Center for Oral History, and I'm interviewing Miss Irene Thu.
Yes.
About the fall of Saigon and the Vietnamese versus the North Vietnamese. We are in New Orleans, Louisiana. And if you would, please state your name and spell your name out.
Okay, my name is Irene, Irene, Thu, Hoang, Hoang is my last name.
And where and when were you born?
I was born on January the 15th, 1968 in Phước Tỉnh, Vietnam.
And the name of your parents?
My mom's name is Liu, Lieu. My daddy's name is Nghia, Nghia.
Right. Okay. And as of today, you are unemployed, but you're married.
Yes.
Any children?
One. Yes.
He or she?
She is soon to be 19 on April the 30th.
Oh, goodness. About to be in college, huh?
No, she's in college already.
Okay.
She's 19.
Where in college at?
She's at Delgado Community.
Okay. All right. And your husband, what does he do?
He's a welder.
Pretty good money.
Yes.
And you said that as far as what your role in the community, you help them. How do you help the Vietnamese people?
Okay. In the past, I used to work for the Head Start program, which is Total Community Action, as a teacher aide. See, the difference is like a lot of Vietnamese people migrate into the United States. They don't know the language, and then I just like it's like more like a liaison person, trying to connect them with the different resources that Total Community Action was offering at that time.
Right, like trying to get them into the culture.
Yes.
Into the new culture.
Yes, and then work with special student, especially with autism student, because I think at that time back when when a lot of the Vietnamese people just migrated to the United States, they don't want to label their kid as special.
Right.
Yes, so it's like more of like if you label their child like there's a need, that they would draw off the the educational program,
right.
And then you don't want to do that, so it's just like you got to try to bring the resources in and explain it to them that it's not that we're labeling your child, it's just that your child has a special need, and then you just have, I'm here to help,
right,
for your child to achieve that special need, so they could go through the milestone growth.
Right.
And stuff like that.
And every parent would want that. Apparently, if I ever had a special needs child, I wouldn't want anything but the best and wouldn't want he or she to be looked down on as different.
Right.
As far as Vietnam and in 1975, what were your thoughts? Like, where were you during this time?
I was. My dad.
You're okay.
Yeah. My daddy had my hand, my brother's hand, and my sister on his back. We have probably about 2 outfits with us, with no any other belongings, because we don't know where we're going. We was on my uncle's boat. Then we travel out into I really don't know where we were. It's a big open sea, nothing but water around us for a few days. My baby sister was sick at that time, and my mom was only just taking care of her, because I think she was a little bit over a year when we left, and we was, I guess it's like linger on to the big ocean while we don't know what will become of us.
Or where to go.
Where to go or where to seek help. And finally, I think there were a big steel boat, an American boat, came to the rescue, and when they poured down the net for us to start crawling up to get into the boat, it's not only like our boat alone, it was thousands and thousands of boats that was just lingered there just to try to see where the future's gonna take us, where God's gonna lead us to. But finally, when we saw that, so the net was dropped, and it was our turn to get on. My daddy said, "Don't. When you go up with me, you crawl beside me. Do not look down." I did not listen to him. I looked down, and when I was just, like how when you was, okay, Dad, when you looking at your dad, and then he said, "Looked up," and then when he looked up, and then you said, "No, let me just take a look down." When I looked down, I seen a few kids. I don't know if it's kids or an adult slip and
Fall into the water.
Fall into the water, and once it fall into the water, I think shark, some kind of fish down there must have ate them up.
Right.
And then nothing, you could see the pile of blood mixing in with that water right there. And so it was really horrible scene up until like now, when certain people mention about the Fall Saigon, I get emotional. Once we climb up to the boat, I look down, and just to see, other people, if they have problem, which I couldn't do anything about it, but I was just only like, I guess I was only like 6 or 7. But just observing how we had to get ourselves up onto that boat, it was a big mess. And then once I look down, I see nothing but blood and nothing but dry noodles, I guess, linger on the top of the water, and the wave moving back and forth and stuff.
So as you see or you hear of how other people escaped, would you say that you're fortunate that y'all had a boat?
I was very fortunate because my grandpa has a boat. My uncle has a boat.
You're a family of fishermen.
Yes, yeah. My family is a fisherman back in Vietnam, and then when they heard about the communists is coming, taking over, my grandpa stated that he ran from them in 1954 from the north, migrated to the south. He will not stay here to die under their hand.
And did any of your family have a military service? Any in the military?
You know what? That I don't know.
You just knew them as the fishermen.
Yes, I just know that they are fishermen.
Did you have any friends or family that had a harder time getting out? As you see that the U.S. Embassy was overdrawn with people trying to escape. Did you know of anyone that was left there or left behind?
On my daddy's side, a lot of them was left behind because they wasn't. I guess it's that they did not know about the fall or the ambush of the communists is coming in. They don't know because they don't have a lot of. I guess it's like technology back then. Radios, yeah. And they were the other part of the. I don't know because. When I went back in '99, it was a different surrounding.
It was a different scene.
Yeah.
Let's go back to when you said you got on the boat. You hear the stories of a boat that could hold 200 with 2,000. Was that the type of boat? Was there an overpopulated amount of people on the American ship?
That boat has to hold more than 2,000 people on there. Because we would just play sitting right next to each other. When I realized looking at it, just like sitting us like in a sardine can, so make sure everybody have a spot. So as much as they could hold. Yeah.
And how long were you on the American?
I really don't know, but
Days?
probably days on there, maybe weeks, because my baby sister did not have any milk, so they found my dad found a can of powdered milk or something, mixed it with cold water and gave it to her, and she has diarrhea. And also there's other 2 infants on the boat. One was passed away. They had to wrap them in a white cloth and then let it go. I don't know if it's a she or he. They had to bury her like that, the baby in like that.
Wow.
One died, and 2, as soon as we docked, the hospital, I guess once we get into, I wanted to say Guam.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there was an ambulance come and just take all of the sick that needed medical assistance, and then they were gone. So I think we checked in with Guam people, and my daddy got us situated, and then he went looking for my mom and my sister.
And life on the boat, how did you sleep? What did they feed you
I really have no clue
as far as
memories, but the only thing was that how we left out and trying to get on the boat. That was
the most horrifying
horrifying.
scene.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on the communists coming in? Like, as you get older, you know, at the age that you were then, what are your thoughts as of now?
As of now, recently, I don't want to use the word hate. I guess it's like they have to do what they have to do, but then they don't have a heart.
Do you feel like they took a lot from you?
Yes, they took. For right now, I could say they took my people freedom,
And
rights,
tradition.
rights. Yes, and we have to force out of our own hometown because of their ignorance.
Right.
Yes.
Let's see. You said that you feel that they took your freedom. Do you feel that they took your freedom as your hometown or as your entire country?
As my whole entire country.
They say that, you know, on the boats, there were some Vietnamese, South Vietnamese boats, and that their flags had to be taken down and American flags had to go up. And they said that they felt like that was the falling of their country. Is that where it makes you feel? Is that you feel like everything was just wasted and taken?
I wasn't aware of that issue, but since now you mention it, you know, but I wasn't aware of that. They had taken down that the Vietnam flag and then put up the American flag.
Right, they had South Vietnamese military men. They had to take down the South Vietnamese flag,
Okay.
and then raise the American flag in order for some ships to enter the Philippines.
Oh, okay. So maybe I don't believe that the American or the one that's raising up the American flag did it for a reason. I think they did it just to protect us.
Right.
Okay. Since now we just mentioned about it, I believe that they just doing it to protect us.
Right.
But if they didn't put up the American flag, how are we going to get into the Filipinos?
Right. Right. You know, a lot of people say that the United States waited late to start evacuating. Do you feel the same?
I don't think so. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they from what I heard, okay, they did have some American that's already was in Vietnam.
There was thousands of them there.
I wanted to say as early as in 1966, but I because I don't know. I'm just hearing
Right.
pieces and pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at that age you didn't remember a lot. You said you got to Guam. Once you got to Guam, how did you adapt to that culture?
It was, we had, no, well, I would say that it's not that we don't have a choice, but, you know, you got to make the best out of it.
Right.
You know, at least you're alive, and then you are not captured, being tortured. So my dad really tried to help us to adapt. We have a little community, like a Vietnamese community. All of us evacuated together. It was like just setting up in a tent, and then, you know, we to me, I was blessed that I was away from the scene. I'm not being tortured. I'm just blessed that I'm there.
Right.
I will adapt.
And how long did you stay in Guam? Like, did y'all stay there for a short amount of time?
I think so. We stayed there for a short amount of time, and then we went to Fort Chaffee.
Okay.
Okay, and then we stayed there for a short amount of time also too. And then we went to Monticello, Iowa, because we had two good family that sponsored my grandparent, my aunt, and my whole family to Monticello, Iowa.
You know, you mentioned your family were fishermen, and apparently in Iowa there's not a lot of fishing land. What did your family do at that time?
Well, at that time, you know, Monticello was cold, very freezing cold. I was in school. We have one of Miss Pham, from what I recall. She married to one of the military. She speaks both language, English and Vietnamese, so she was helping us to migrate into the United States easier. She was more like the translation between my family and my sponsor family. And we just learned how to adapt. We didn't stay up there too long because of the cold.
Right.
Yeah, so once my parents found out down here, they come down and then they take a look at it, and then where they see a whole lot of Vietnamese, and then they starting up the Vietnamese tradition and stuff like that. So he moved us down here.
And that gave him the opportunity to
Yes, to
restart his fishing.
Right.
Would you say that you said Miss Pham?
Yes.
That she did what you are doing today for
Yes.
the Vietnamese?
I believe so.
And is that like your way of giving back? Is that your way of saying, well, it was done for me and I was walked through it, so I feel like now if I could help out for the
You
rest.
know, the family that sponsor our family, Gus and Mary Nolans in Monticello, they instill in my heart up to still now the value of people. We have to learn how to overcome whatever color they are, to look deep down in them to help. I think because of that, they were very wealthy, rich. You know, like as I grew older, I said that they have a heart because they reach out to us and they help us.
Right.
And not only like just to help us migrate into the United States, they also help us throughout. We still kept in touch.
Right. Today.
Yeah. As of today.
That's amazing.
And two of my sisters they had to go back up there for high school because of a lot of, I guess back in the 80s, there's a lot of drugs and some of that. So they went back up there and stayed with them for 4 years of high school, and then also they helped put them through college also too.
And that's where you graduated, was in Iowa?
No, my other two sisters, I graduated down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the oldest one, so I really can't go nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
What are your parents doing today, as of today?
My mom's a retired. My dad is just a custodian at the Einstein Charter School, which is like about 5 minutes from where we stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your siblings, what are they doing as of today?
Okay, I have one brother that's a nail tech. He does nail for a living. Cindy is my sister.
Okay.
Yes, she's the director of VIT. executive at Vietnamese.
Right.
Yeah, I used to work for her for over 11 years.
Right.
And then I have another sister, Lorna. She's a school teacher. She's still, I think she has a master's degree in social work. I'm not social worker, in education. And I think she's one of the testing coordinator for the school board. Then I have another brother. He passed a few months ago of a heart attack. And then I have a baby sister. She does now.
Okay. So basically, your family is really into the tradition, and you said Cindy's your sister, and your dad is with, and your sister's with the school board and all that stuff. Have your parents ever talked about
The foster gone?
well that and the missed tradition in a sense?
Talk about talk to us about it. Well, we just adapt to the culture and then learn because we grew up in this area, so
Right.
it's a lot of Vietnamese. So it's instilled in us. So they did talk about how they had to struggle back home and stuff like that, and the foster gone also too.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like I noticed that within my family, we just picked up and we had to adjust. Then we just have to adjust.
Right.
We might be pouting a little bit, but hey, if you want to live, you just have to
You have to
adjust.
fight for it,
Yes.
right. You said that you returned in 1999?
Yeah, that was my first trip back in 1999 since I left. Really, it was mainly to meet my in-laws. Yeah, because most of my in-laws on my husband's side is in Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went back there for the first time. I didn't like it. It's because you gotta watch what you say.
Right. As in, talking about the past
Yes.
and things that happened.
And you just can't say the word communist.
Right.
You gotta use an adjective
Right.
to describe that.
Right. Why is that though? Why
I
do
guess
you think that is?
That's what my in-law was telling me.
Is that you can't talk about it?
Yeah, it's a hush hush thing.
Right.
So
Have they said that the reason it's hush hush is because they fear their lives?
yes,
I'm sure.
yes.
Still to this day.
Well, right now, as of in 2006, it's a little bit better. Yeah, it's more of modern now, and the only thing that I don't like about the communists is that when we go home, they look at us like, okay, you got something for me.
Right.
They're making it harder for us.
Right.
Yeah.
What? It was your husband's parents. Your in-laws, I'm guessing. Why didn't they? Have you ever asked him why they didn't?
They couldn't because they were trapped. And I believe from what my husband was saying that my father-in-law was in jail for a while for trying to leave, and also my brother-in-law too. They were taken away from home.
How'd your husband escape? Have you ever asked him?
Yes, he escaped, I think, in 1979, quietly.
So he didn't make it out on the first
No,
initial
no.
point.
He has to stay back, and he was saying life was very rough. They tried to escape several times, but then it was not successful.
Right.
I think in 1979, late in 1979, he and his other brother and his family escaped through a family boat.
A family boat. So
Yes.
kind of the same as your situation.
But then mine is just like an over everybody. If you have a boat, jump on the boat and just leave. They have to like secretly leave, from what I understand, leave at night through the underground path, whatever,
Right.
you know. It's
Just
very
secretly.
secretly, yeah. And then if you get caught, you know, you're going to be paying a price.
Yeah. As in
Neither go to jail or you're going to fight for your life, you're going to be dead.
Right.
I wonder why they wouldn't let y'all leave Like,
I guess it's that they need people to do what they have to do.
yeah, control.
Yeah, more of like a control thing.
Yeah, it was more. Yeah, it was more of the control. Do you have any questions?
No.
When you were
I
on
love listening.
you know, they talk about the helicopters coming in and out at the U.S. Embassy. Do you recall seeing any of those helicopters?
I heard the helicopter as we was leaving on the boat. Yeah, but my instruction was to sit tight.
And keep your head down.
Yes, sit tight, and then because it was crowded on the boat. We was trying to get everybody in, as many family as we can, onto the boat, divided out with 2 or 3 boats that they have, and some of that. So I was just told, sit tight, don't move nowhere.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else I could say.
Like, I know sometimes when bad stuff happens to people, they have nightmares and dreams. Do you have dreams about it?
I have, every now and then I do, of the scenery where that child fell down, or that adult fell down, and
In the
then
blood?
the blood just mixed in with the water. That's scary.
I'm sure it was for a 6 or 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it made you a better person today, or the person that you are today?
I believe because what I had experienced in the past, and what I seen in surrounding of myself. Yes.
You said that your parents talked about the struggle while they were there. Do you feel that if the fall of Saigon never happened and you were still there, do you feel that the struggle, like your family would still be struggling financially, or that you would have built sort of an empire?
I don't think we was kind of like struggling with financially. I think we was just struggling trying to adapt
Right.
to the moving from our country to another country.
Right.
Yes.
You said you have children. Do you raise your children on the South Vietnamese traditions?
I teach her to be respectful, and then also do not look down on people. It doesn't matter what color they are, what kind of background they come from. We are human. I pretty much mix in American and Vietnamese
Right.
family style.
Does she know how to speak Vietnamese?
Yes, a little bit, not too much.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's, do your parents speak any English?
Yes.
Okay, so it's easy for her to...
Not so much, but the basic one.
Right, so it's easy for her to catch on.
Yes.
Have you ever asked your parents if they feel like the South Vietnam today is the same traditions in the same ways as...
Oh, tradition, yes. Some families still have that tradition in them. But then there's a lot of family that's in the city-wise. It's more like, in my opinion, when I went back in 2006, they were more like Americanized.
Right.
Nowadays they have shopping mall, they have streets. Well, it's not like over here, but
Right.
it's getting there.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as the culture and tradition, do you think in the years to come they will still have that, or that the Americanization or the modernization will completely take over?
They will try to blend the American tradition in with us, with the new generation now.
Right.
Yes.
How
That's how I felt.
How did you separate yourself? I just try to put myself in your shoes. How, after all that happened and everything that you can picture as far as what you've been told, how do you keep yourself from not hating the tradition of that, from like the scare?
Well, it's just like,
It brings back whenever you were little, I guess,
yes,
the
it's-
good part.
Yes, I try to block out the bad part as much as I can. Through all of the classes that I was taking through social worker, it helps me to understand.
Kind of cope.
Yes, to understand how to cope with those feelings and how to let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
And today is the Vietnamese New Year. What?
Yeah, Thursday was the Vietnamese New Year.
Okay, but
Yeah.
y'all just having the festival this
Yes,
weekend.
uh-huh.
What does it mean to you for a Vietnamese New Year? Like, as far as culture and the way that you can have your traditions New Year in the United States.
It brings family closer to to each other, as like how I have a lot of American friends. Once they turn 18, they move on their own. My daughter's 19 and she's still at home.
I'm 23 and I'm still at home.
Okay, all right. But it's just that like with the festival like this, it brings us more closer to each other.
Right.
Because that's who you are. I mean, you are. That's where you came from.
Yes. And with my family, we stay really close to each other.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just think my younger sister is my boss for 10 years.
Right. How does that make you feel?
Well, you know what? When you go to work, she's my boss. From 9 to 5, she's my boss. After that, she's just my sister.
Right.
Yeah, so you just have to learn how to balance it out, because she has really, each of us, we have different talents.
Right.
And then, fortunately, she has a really good talent to write grants and get grants to provide job for everybody within the community.
Right.
Yeah. So it's no problem. I had no problem working for my sister for that. Yeah, for that amount of time. During the time when I'm out there, I dress her as Miss Cindy.
Right. Really.
Yeah. Yes.
And that goes to another part of the portion of the respect.
Yes.
Paula knew what buttons to push and which ones not to.
Yes. But I try to push the right button.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Keep away from those wrong.
Yes. And then it doesn't have to be like, oh, she's my little sister, I'm gonna get away with the stuff. No,
Yeah.
it's not that.
You have
I
respect.
had to give her the respect, and then I had to carry my work ethic. Yeah. So because it's gonna be reflecting on my resume.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, I think that goes, like I said, the respect portion, because if I were put in your position and my brother was my boss, I would definitely feel like I could get away with stuff. I would do anything and everything. I would be late because I felt like I wanted to. But the amount of respect that you and your siblings are taught is just phenomenal. Because like I said, I'd probably do whatever I wanted to do.
No, if my time is at 9, report to work, I'll be there like 8:30, 8:45. Time for us to get off at 5:30 or 6. I don't leave there until 6:15 to make sure everything is done deal, finished out the day and stuff like that.
Do you have any certain? You said you help the Vietnamese families. Do you have any families here recently that you remember that just caught your attention of their background and their?
Recently in 2011. So that family is over here over almost 2 years now, 2-3 years already. No, in 2012. Yeah, 2012. None speaking whatsoever English. Just helping them, finding a school to enroll their kids in. Make sure that once they get into the school that they have someone bilingual there, that they've been put in an ESL class. Yeah, and so that.
So you basically just help them speak English to their best ability, or you help them get into the class.
Get into it. And then in the past, when I was at the Viet office, we had in ESL class where I basically provide English as their second language. So an ESL class, so they could come out and we just verbatimly, help them to learn the basic speaking tone.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you've probably heard 1,000 times that everything happens for a reason. But being that you help people in so many different ways, and your family does, do you believe that that's the reason that God spared your life when you were there and you escaped in your family?
Yes, very.
Definitely. And you're
Very.
going to live that out.
Yes,
I can
and then
tell.
also, like along the path when we was leaving our country, we had so much of people that help us, and and then they're not even looking for anything in return,
Right.
except for what I'm doing for you. If you could do it for some other,
To pay it forward.
Yes, that's good enough.
To pay it forward.
Yes, even nowadays when I go through work, I don't look for a reward. I just say, I was very fortunately someone was there to help me. I'm gonna help somebody just to, make the connection.
Right.
Someone gave you hope, so you give them hope.
Yes.
Oh,
You're an amazing person.
Oh, yeah. Your
Thank
daughter,
you.
has she ever been to Vietnam?
No, she's afraid.
Really?
Yeah, she's afraid because of I guess it's like all of the negative thoughts that.
Don't rock the boat attitude.
Yeah, and stuff that. But
And of course the story she's
we still talking to them, to her, to see if she, she's ready. We could take her back home, just to meet, on my husband's side.
Right.
Yeah. And so
And, as you just said, to take her back home, you still consider that
home.
your home,
Yes.
even though...
I haven't lived there for a while.
Right, in the place that it is today, but that is still
Mother home.
your home.
Motherland home.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing, because it's not as if it was when you were there. And it won't ever be again because of, as you say, the communists. But that shows that your dedication.
I went back there to check out my old house.
Was it still there?
It's not an old house no more. It's a mansion.
Really?
Yes. I don't know who owns it, but I would love to live in there.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. Is there anything else you would like to add before we
No.
close in? Anything?
I would say that I thank God that He has protected me and my family, and then also gave us two good, amazing sponsorship that as of up till now we still connect with them.
That's awesome.
And as she said, everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
What that reason is, we don't know. But
Yeah.
I think we know your reason, though. You're helping many families, and your family, of course, is doing
Yeah. So
a lot of work helping.
I think Cindy's and them trying to plan a trip to go back up Monticello to visit her and stuff that because Gus passed in 1995.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's widowed.
Yes, she's a widow. She, we keep in touch with her very closely. Well, Cindy does because that's more like her second mom.
Right.
Yeah, because she stayed up there.
For high school.
Yeah, for high school and then also for college. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to try some Vietnamese food.
Okay.
Is there anything you would say for us to tackle?
Tackle the crepe.
Crepe. Okay.
Yeah, crepe. You would be on the other side. If you go right now, I'll take you over there. And if you want to get a home cooked meal, lunch, I could fix it up. I could make the call and see if they're done. We could swing by there and eat at my house.
Uh-oh.
My husband's cooking.
Uh-oh.
I don't cook.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because we were going to go to, the restaurant about a mile away from here.
Which restaurant?
Dong.
Phuong?
Yeah, that's
I
it.
think they might be close to
Yeah, well, it's up to you. And then we've got plenty of food around
How many?
here.
Yeah. Let me call my husband to see. How many of you guys?
It's me and her.
Okay.
That's so sweet.
That would be awesome.
I'm pregnant and emotional, and you're gonna make me cry.
How many months are you?
5.
5 months? You don't look like 5 months.
Our big clothes.
Okay, let me ask my husband. Because he had red fish fresh. They just